Moab at that time. He received, God communicates with him, and that's not really that's not really a one of a kind situation in the Bible. I think if you'll remember, I get this name, I may get it wrong, but if you'll remember when Abraham and his wife Sarah was in the country traveling, and King Abimelech, y'all remember the story where Abraham tried to hide the fact that Sarah was his wife, and I think Abimelech had a vision or in a dream or something like that wasn't the case. I have to go back thinking, but I do remember for sure, if you'll remember Nebuchadnezzar, the king, the man of Babylon who came in and sacked Jerusalem, he has some dreams as well from God, and before he was not a very pleasant man at that time. He was a very evil man. There's another one. We talked about the witch of Endor when Saul went for some supernatural guidance there. Well, Samuel shows up, and the witch of Endor was even surprised at that, I believe. Wasn't expecting that. And we got Nebuchadnezzar, Abimelech, and the witch of Endor, and there's one more I'm trying to think of it. Dreams. Oh, yeah. The Pharaoh had dreams that only Joseph could interpret, if you'll remember back then. So, God has communicated with people at different times throughout the Bible there. Albeit they're not godly people. And that's the way I look at Balaam, and as we're reading about him, he even gives he gives some advice to this king of Moab that it's not a blessing. He never gives him a blessing, but boy, he gives him a tactic to use on the Israelites. It messes them up. So he's not a very pleasant man, the way I look at it as we come into Balaam. All right. So it's chapter 22, and we will pick up at chapter 22, verse 9. And we've been introduced to Balaam and Balak. That's the king of Moab. For a minute there, I couldn't even remember his name until I looked at my notes here. And of course, he sent people out to this fortune teller. Has a reputation of being accurate, giving out blessings, And you look at these people, these pagan believers like this king Balak here. They believe this supernatural, because somebody speaks it, it's going to have an effect or a positive effect on their outcome in the future there. That's the way they look at this stuff. And if we'll see here, this king really is into it, because one time's not enough for him to be told. He is going to be told several times through here, this blessing ain't coming for you, guy. It ain't coming. These are God's people. God has blessed these people. They've got the blessing. But as we read, we'll see that. So, chapter 22, verse 9, and I'll pick up. And God came unto Balaam and said, What men are these with thee? So here Balak sent some of his representatives, princes, etc., like that. And so they're going to escort him, and they go get the well, first they're going to report back a couple of times, but then he goes with them. But anyway, all right, so Balaam, God asked him here, What men are these with thee? And Balaam said unto God, Balak the son of Zippor, king of Moab, hath sent unto me, saying, Behold, there is a people come out of Egypt, which covereth the face of the earth. Come now, curse me them. Peradventure I shall be able to overcome them and drive them out. And God said unto Balaam, Thou shalt not go with them. Thou shalt not curse the people, for they are blessed. So here's the first time this process that's going to go through here. And they're going to go, we'll find out they're going to report back. But Balaam, God is talking to him here now, even though here's the condition, but God is telling him, you're not going to go back with these people and give this blessing. All right. Okay. So now I'm going to read 13 through 19. And Balaam rose up in the morning and said unto the princes of Balak, Get you into your land. He's telling them, go on back to your land, go on back to the king Balak. Get you into your land, for the Lord refuses to give me leave to go with you. So he didn't say nothing about the blessing. pretty much saying, I'm not going back with you, is what he's telling them. And the princes of Moab rose up, and they went unto Balak and said, Balaam refuses to come with us. So you got to remember here, this Balaam, he's in a different area. He's not like in the town or the county or the state, whatever we look at, this area where this Moab is. He's off in Mesopotamia, I believe, Beth Peor, I think it's what it was. But anyway, so it's going to take them a little while to get back, so they're going to go back. All right. Everybody else coming up through there in these battles. So now he's worried about it. But if he was that worried, why didn't he send the most honorable and the most notable to start with? I don't know, but it makes you think about the condition of his mind and his way of thinking. It wasn't that important to him. You think if you was that concerned about your people or your city, you would have sent the best to start with, wouldn't you? So anyway, that's just an insight into him and the type of man he is, all right, the king. More honorable than they. And they came unto Balaam and said unto him, Thus saith Balak, the son of Zippor, Let nothing, I pray thee, hinder thee from coming unto me. To very great honor. Oh boy. So Balak, and he's sending him, saying, well, I'm going to make you somebody important to come here and give this blessing. Because, well, like I said, he's worried about not being king anymore, I think is what his more concern is. Because if you're going to get whipped in the battle, he ain't going to be around much longer. So, and I will do whatsoever thou sayest unto me. Come therefore, I pray thee, curse me this people. And Balaam answered and said unto the servants of Balak, If Balak would give me his house full of silver and gold, I cannot go beyond the word of the Lord my God. Now that's a strange. He goes, the Lord my God. He's addressing him as Lord his God now. So, like I said, strange character is all I can say here. So to some degree, he knows what he's being told here is the truth. But, is that really that strange? That someone of an evil nature admits that God is God and believe what they say? I mean, even the demons are scared of Jesus. I mean, they knew Jesus was real. So, you don't have to be the best person or, like that to admit and know that God is right. All right. And go beyond the word of the Lord my God. Now, therefore, I pray you, tarry ye also here this night, that I may know what the Lord will say unto me more. All right. So they're going to have to spend the night. He's going to have a dream and see what God tells him before he sends them back on their way again. So here you got Balak. To me, he's a king that's not accustomed to being told no, number one, because the first time wasn't enough. So there's some more into the inside of the type of man he is. But here's Balaam willing to, instead of saying, just go back, one time's enough, here he is kind of ready to, like a kid at the checkout line, Mama, will you get this for me? And they'll say no. Mama, will you get this for me? You see what I'm saying? So Balaam's going to try it again. He's going to ask, see what God, if God will change his mind from one night to from one instance to the next. All right. So now I'm going to read 20 through 30. Oh boy, here's a lot. All right, so get ready. And God came unto Balaam at night and said unto him, If the men come to call thee, rise up and go with them. But yet the word which I shall say unto thee, that shalt thou do. And here he is tempting, here he is going back to not doing what God told him to start with. Now God's giving him this option. Now, God could have probably struck him down right then if he wanted to. He done told him one time not to go with them. But our God, has laid it out there, don't go. But he comes back asking again. So he is a man of his own free will. He can make these choices to go to this place, or he could have elected, number one, never told them men to leave the second time they showed up the door. He should have never opened the door. But here he is. And he's got this, and now God's putting it in his lap. He already knows he shouldn't go, but God says, all right, go on. But if you go, you're going to tell them what I've told you to tell. But even now, it's still not too late for him. He could not go, but he's going to continue on. And here's where we go. And Balaam rose up in the morning and saddled his donkey and went with the princes of Moab. And God's anger, right there. Now, what did I tell you? God gave him the free will that night. He said, you go, but you're going to tell him what I told you. But here the next morning when he gets up, what's the first words in the sentence? That ain't what God wanted him to do. He gave him the option, but God did not want him to go because he's angered this morning. All right? And God's anger was kindled because he went, and the angel of the Lord stood in the way for an adversary against him. Now he was riding up on his donkey, and his two servants were with him. And the donkey saw the angel of the Lord standing in the way, and his sword drawn in his hand. And the donkey turned aside out of the way and went into the field, and Balaam smote the donkey to turn her into the way. All right, so here's the angel of the Lord. A term here, not just like an ordinary angel, you know, and this here is more in a term, trying to think of the big word. Every time I can't remember these big words, somebody can help me with this probably if they can think of it. Something, epiphany, what is it? But anyway, it's like a Christ-like picture, maybe in the future is what they try, what some people picture this angel of the Lord being. So, but anyway, Balaam hits the donkey, of course, when it veers to the side and can't go past. And, you know, you're telling the angel here's got a sword, of course. And it's a sight that's terrifying enough that the donkey knows not to go that way, too. So think about it. All right. But the angel of the Lord stood in a path of the vineyards, and a wall being on the side, and a wall on that side. And when the donkey saw the angel of the Lord, she thrust herself into the wall and crushed Balaam's foot against the wall, and he smote her again. So here's the second time the donkey's pretty much saved its life and his life in the process, and he's got his foot crushed, so you can imagine he's pretty mad and aggravated at this point. All right. 26. And the angel of the Lord went further and stood in a narrow place. There's no place to go now, it's narrowed in, where there was no way to turn either to the right hand or to the left. Something's about to happen. And when the donkey saw the angel of the Lord, she fell down under Balaam, and Balaam's anger was kindled, and he smote the donkey with a staff. So he's really right back and hit this donkey now. And the Lord opened up the mouth of the donkey, and she said unto Balaam, what have I done unto thee that thou hast smitten me these 3 times? All right, and here's what's surprising, like I think I mentioned this last week. Instead of Balaam just passing out or just running for dear life, he seems not surprised at all to be talking to this donkey. So I think that goes back maybe to some of the practices that he's in the past, you know, this I think of evil reports, what it is, this fortune-telling business and stuff like that. That's my personal opinion on that, because, you know, most people would have ran terrified of a donkey talking to them. But anyway, he doesn't. Okay. And I got 2, and Balaam said unto the donkey, because thou hast mocked me, I would there were a sword in mine hand, for it now would I kill thee. And the donkey said unto Balaam, am not I thy donkey upon which thou hast ridden ever since I was thine unto this day? Was I ever wont to do so unto thee? And he said, nay. So look at there at the condition of Balaam, and the donkey points out to him, I have always been faithful to you, Balaam. I've never give you reason to hit me or nothing like that right now. And then if the donkey's doing something that's out of the ordinary for it, Balaam didn't even try to figure out what it was. He just ran back and started hitting it. So, you know, there we go. People don't never, like we talking about Balaam, don't remember the good things the donkey ever done. All he could care about right then was the bad situation that it was doing right then. So, all right, anyway, let me see if I left anything out there up in the, no, that's it. Anyway, we got the talking donkey over. Now we'll pick up in 31 through 35. Then the Lord opened the eyes of Balaam, and he saw the angel of the Lord standing in the way, and his sword drawn in his hand, and he bowed down his head and fell flat on his face. And the angel of the Lord said unto him, wherefore hast thou smitten thine donkey these 3 times? Behold, I went out to withstand thee, because thy way is perverse before me. And the donkey saw me and turned from me these 3 times. Unless she had turned from me, surely now also I had slain thee and saved her life. Well, I forgot that verse. Balaam would have been gone, but the donkey would have lived. It's pretty much what the angel of the Lord is telling him right there. All right. And Balaam said unto the angel of the Lord, I have sinned, for I knew not that thou stoodest in the way against me. Now therefore, if it displeases thee, I will get me back again. And the angel of the Lord said unto Balaam, Go with the men, but only the word that I shall speak unto thee, that thou shalt speak. So Balaam went with the princes of Balak. All right, but there again, Balaam don't get the message. He didn't have to go. This whole thing started out. He could turn around now and go back if he wanted to, but he's going to keep pushing. He's going to keep pushing, trying to get there. Why? I think it's because of the fact that he wants to be one of those honorable men. Of course, money is the next big thing. He's going to get paid well for this job. So that seems to me what's in Balaam's heart. Some way to make some money still. All right. 36 through 41. And when Balak heard that Balaam was come, so I bet he's excited now. He thinks it's all going to be okay. He's going to get Balaam to speak a blessing for him. He went out to meet him unto a city of Moab, which is in the border of Arnon, which is in the utmost coast. And Balak said unto Balaam, Did I not earnestly send unto thee to call thee? Wherefore camest thou not unto me? Am I not able indeed to promote thee to honor? He's like, why did you not come in the first place? You don't think that I'm important enough? I can make you an honorable person. So there you again, you get the kind of quality of the man that this is, of this king of Moab. And something that just came back to mind to me when reading some of this and reading commentary, that he did not inherit his title as a true Moabite ruler of this Moab. In the previous chapters we had read where, I think it was, I can't remember if it was the Amorites or but it's the previous tribe right before what we read here, they had defeated Moab. This is the king they transplanted in here in place when the true king was killed in the battle. And this guy he was from Midian, I think is what it was. So there again, a little commentary on that too. He's an appointed king from the group to the north that defeated them. And, they didn't wipe them off the map the way sometimes the Israelites do. They just take over. They take control of the people. So you've got this king here, this Balak. He's not a true Moabite. And another thing, too, maybe if he had been a true Moabite, maybe he would have known the fact that even though it's distant relatives with the people that's coming, if you'll remember, I told you it's the Amorites is the other one, was Lot's daughters. When Lot and his daughters fled Sodom, went to the mountains, they had an incestuous relationship and ended up having 2 different families from that thing. The Moabites was one of them, and then I think it's the Amorites was the other. And of course the Edomites to the south was descendants of Esau. But anyway, you've got these 2 groups. Had he been a true Moabite, he might have had enough sense in his mind to maybe realize that maybe they won't have to be a fight here because we're a long-distant relative. Nobody knows that for sure. That's just speculation. But it's another twist of the fact that this Balak is lacking some knowledge about relationships, possibility. So, and, like the Edomites, they just told them to go around. So they were cousins too, if you remember. So, but anyway, where did I get to? Got sidetracked. Remember that. And Balaam said unto Balak, Lo, I am come unto thee. Have I now any power at all to say anything? The word that God putteth in my mouth, that shall I speak. Balaam says, I'm here now, and all I can tell you is what God tells me to put. Of course, I don't think he tells Balak about the talking donkey and all that stuff at this time. He's just telling Balak that whatever word you're going to get from me, it's coming from God, all right, as far as this blessing concerned. And Balaam went with Balak, and they come unto Kirjath-Huzoth. And Balak offered oxen and sheep, and sent to Balaam and to the princes that were with him. And it came to pass on the morrow that Balak took Balaam and brought him up into the high places of Baal, that there that thence he might see the utmost part of the people. All right, so from this point, this high place, these pagan people had this practice of worshiping their false gods or whatever else they had going on in their mind. They would do their own sacrifices up in these high places. Of course, it'd be an elevated place, and they'd have different things of stones and poles or all kinds of, different things. I can't go into them all right now. I've seen some of that stuff in some of your shows. It shows things of the past. But this is where their pagan worship took place. Sometimes they would have gatherings, and maybe at a season or something, and then they do sacrifices up there. But anyway, this is this place, and if you'll remember, these high places are not a good thing either. King Josiah in the future tears down these places, and when he tries to reform Israel, because they had done got to the point then that they were going, at this point in time in Kings, they were, after Solomon intermarried with some of the Canaanites and all that, they were getting in the habit of blending in with these Canaanites again and blending in the one true God with their false belief in some of these high places, trying to mix it all up in there. And you got to remember, these high places that we're talking about here, that the ones where Balak's got him here, when Solomon built the temple, that put an end to them high places. There was one place to go worship God, and that was Jerusalem at the temple. So, but anyway, these places are bad places, and just from day one. And anytime in the future, they try to blend that in or go to these high places to worship God. After Solomon comes along, they was one place. And then after Solomon, well, I'm getting excited. I was going into his son and the splitting of the kingdom, and we'll get to that one of these days. But anyway, all right, so if I left anything out here through 41, no, high places, Balaam should have left again right here. He shouldn't have went. Here's another instance. He could have went back home, but he's not going to do it. And another commentary I was reading, I never realized this. This must be more not for us, but I've never heard anybody. But the name Balaam, even to the Jewish people, is not a well-liked name. It's kind of, you don't hear people naming their children Balaam. And another popular person or evil person in the Bible that you never hear a name is, for the female, is Jezebel. It's something like that. You wouldn't want to call your kid Jezebel if you cared much about them. But anyway, that's for the Jewish people. I think that's why they don't do it. So now we've made it to chapter 23, and we got more Balaam coming. And prophecies from, King Balak here, he don't give up either. He's going to, they say there's about 4 times here, I think, he goes to other places trying to get this blessing out of Balaam. So we'll continue on. I'm going to read verses 1 through 6. And we're going to see here. It's hard for Balaam to tell Balak no, I guess because he's in charge. I don't know. You'd think if he was getting the word from God, it would be enough to put the fear in him to know he needs to go home. But anyway. And Balaam said unto Balak, build me here 7 altars, and prepare me here 7 oxen and 7 rams. Did God tell Balaam to tell him to build these altars? So he's disobeying what God's told him. Of course, he's going to tell. He'll tell him what God told him. But God didn't tell him to build these altars and all this stuff either, so that's another angle on Balaam there. And Balak did as Balaam had spoken, and Balak and Balaam offered on every altar a bullock and a ram. You see, the Jewish people have already gotten their own laws and rules for offering sacrifices, and this here's more like a pagan. This is a pagan sacrifice and things like this. So, God ain't going to pay no attention to none of this. This is all pagan worship, pagan practices. And Balaam said unto Balak, stand by thy burnt offering, and I will go. Peradventure the Lord will come to me, and whatsoever he showeth me, I will tell thee. And he went to a high place. All right, not a good thing. And God met Balaam And he said unto him, I have prepared 7 altars, and I have offered upon every altar a bullock and a ram. And the Lord put up a word in Balaam's mouth, and said, Return unto Balak, and thus thou shalt speak. And he returned unto him, and lo, he stood by his burnt sacrifice, he and all the princes of Moab. All right, we'll even read in the future that when God gets fed up with Israel, even following the practices of the real sacrificial system laid out in the law, they had got to the point where they were just doing it to be doing it, putting on a show. It didn't mean nothing. And then God even tells them it's a stench in his nose. So I figure God's going to receive this about the same way as a stench coming from these pagan worshipers. And here they're trying to address God here to get a blessing out of him, Balaam. All right. Now I'm going to read 7 through 10. And he took up his parable and said, Balak the king of Moab hath brought me from Aram out of the mountains of the east, saying, Come curse me, Jacob, and come defy Israel. How shall I curse whom God hath not cursed, or how shall I defy whom the Lord hath not defied? For from the top of the rocks I see him, and from the hills I behold him. Lo, the people shall dwell alone, and shall not be reckoned among the nations. Who can count the dust of Jacob and the number of the 4th part of Israel? Let me die the death of the righteous, and let my last end be like his. All right, so here's what Balaam's saying, and this is a strange sentence here at the end here, where he realized that they're blessed, and he would like to be even blessed like them. He knows what their future is going to be here by what God's told him. And from this vantage point, of course, he can tell that Israel is large. It's a large encampment. And they're set apart. He knows they're set apart from the cycle that's been going on. And he wishes that he could end like them as well. His ending to be blessed like this. So we've got an idea that he knows. 11, verse 11, And Balak said unto Balaam, What hast thou done unto me? I took thee to curse mine enemies, and behold, thou hast blessed them altogether. And he answered and said, Must I not take heed to speak that which the Lord hath put in my mouth? So poor old Balak here, he was like, man, I brought you up here to get a blessing, and man, now you've cursed me. And of course, Balaam's like, well, what do you expect me to say? I told you I'd have to do what the Lord told me, say what I'd be told. So here we can see that Balak is a bit probably infuriated by the fact that he's, paying this man to get a blessing, and he ain't getting it. So 13 through 17. And Balak said unto him, Come, I pray thee, with me unto another place. All right, here we go again. He's going to try it again. Going to try to find a better place to get a blessing. Maybe they're just changing locations to get a blessing is what he's thinking. From whence thou mayst seest them, thou shalt see but the utmost part of them, and shalt not see them all, and curse me them from thence. And he brought him unto the field of Zophim, to the top of Pisgah, and built 7 altars, and offered a bullock and a ram on every altar. Just more pagan practices here in my book. And he said unto Balak, Stand here by thy burnt offering while I meet the Lord yonder. And the Lord met Balaam, and put a word in his mouth, and said, Go again unto Balak, and say thus. Well, you can say one thing about Balaam. He ain't letting the old guy get bored here in this fortune-telling business. He got him building altars and sacrificing animals, and he's going to have to stand there till he gets word. So, just think about the condition. And he's mad on top of that. So he would be, this would be somewhat of a situation that this king's going through. And when he came to him, behold, he stood by his burnt offering, and the princes of Moab with him. And Balak said unto him, What hath the Lord spoken? So not only he's there, but he's got his princes, he's got an audience there with him, all them important people standing around these altars and these burnt offerings. And he's hoping to get a blessing. Balak wants a new message, and there again, just like I said earlier, going the next, like a kid don't get the answer they want the first time. they're gonna come back and ask again. They're gonna ask again. They might wait till the next aisle, or they might wait till a different spot or a different time of day, but they're gonna keep asking. All right. And think about that. The condition of a grown man really ain't much different than the time it is when he's just a child. Keep asking no when he knows what, keep asking for an answer that he knows he ain't gonna get. All right, 18 through 24. Maybe I can get these in. And he took up his parable and said, Rise up, Balak, and hear. Hearken unto me, thou son of Zippor. God is not a man that he should lie, neither the son of man that he should repent. Hath he said, and shall he not do it? Or hath spoken, and shall not make it good? There's more description that God is divine. He is not like a man. And behold, I have received commandment to bless, and he hath blessed, and I cannot reverse it. Of course, it's blessing the children of Israel. He hath not beheld iniquity in Jacob, that's the children of Israel, neither hath he seen perverseness in Israel. The Lord his God is with him, and the shout of a king is among them. That's like a battle cry from the king. It's call to arms. God brought them out of Egypt, and he hath, as it were, the strength of a unicorn. What was that? 18 through 24. I'm getting there. One more. What hath God wrought? No, okay. 22. God brought them out of Egypt. He hath, as it were, the strength of a unicorn. And that's not like, what I get on the commentary on unicorn is maybe there was something in the translation a little off there, but it was probably more like a ancient, kind of like a cow of some type, a bull or something like that. Nobody knows for sure exactly because it's an extinct species now, but the main thing is it's strong. It's a strong animal. This thing is, we've heard the saying strong as a bull, so that's what we got there. And surely there is no enchantment against Jacob, neither is there any divination against Israel. According to this time it shall be said of Jacob and of Israel, What hath God wrought? Behold, the people shall rise up as a great lion and lift up himself as a young lion. He shall not lie down until he eat of the prey and drink the blood of the slain. So they're going to be a powerful nation. They're going to be strong. And I'll make a note to go back and we will revisit that 18 through 24. We just read it, so now we can stew on it a little bit. But the main thing is to know that Balaam's sharing the word with Balak, that these people, you're not going to be able to change the way. You're not going to get this blessing. They're going to be strong in the future. And there's more Balaam telling what's coming in the future as we read further in the chapter. So I'll dismiss us with a prayer. Dear God, I thank you for this day, Lord.